In your yoga classes, you will have learned the three postures of sitting. The most comfortable is Padmasana, Sukhasana. Sukha, it is comfort asana. Then there is Siddhasana, 1 foot up. Then Padmasana, both the feet up. Normally we sit in Sukhasana. Those who feel comfortable may sit in Padmasana or Siddhasana also. Whichever the asana, we sit straight. That is impart. Our spinal cord is straight. And do deep breathing, both inhaling and exhaling. Knowing the signs of breathing. You breathe in oxygen, it goes to the lungs, purifies our whole blood system, becomes carbon dioxide. We exhale carbon dioxide, emptying the lungs. Carbon dioxide goes into the trees, comes back as pure oxygen again. That is how our breathing system works. In addition, we practice breathing in strength. Every time you sit in, keep remembering, I am breathing in strength. Physical strength, intellectual strength, spiritual strength. I am becoming stronger and stronger. I breathe out strength, sending out currents of strength around me into the whole world. Strength. Breathe in purity. I am becoming purer and purer every time I breathe in. Pure in my thoughts, pure in my speech, pure in my action. I am pure. I send out the message of purity every time I breathe out. Purity spread all over the world. I breathe in peace from all directions of the world. Peace comes into me. I am building myself as a peace representative, peace messenger. I breathe out peace, sending peace to all corners of the world. Peaceful world. I breathe in bliss, joy eternal. I am the center of joy eternal of the world. I breathe out joy and spreading out bliss all around me into the whole world. With all noble thoughts in the mind, I am sitting totally relaxed. Tell yourself, I am relaxing. Complete relaxation. Every part of the body is relaxed. The mind is relaxed. Tension-free mind, tension-free body. No tension anywhere in the world. I remind myself, Who am I? Sanatana Dharma or Hindu religion tells me, Aham Brahmasmi, I am the Supreme Brahman, the Divine Spirit. Lord Buddha said, Appadhipo Bhava, you are the eternal light. The Sikh Guru sang, Manatu Jyot Pehchan, O mind, realize that you are that eternal light. Christianity proclaims, the kingdom of heaven is within you, so I am carrying the heaven. Sufi saints tell us, realize yourself, you have realized Allah, the Supreme God. So all the religions have been telling me that I am a divine spirit, I am not a weakling, I am not useless, I am the Supreme. It's a beautiful concept. We have to go on trying to realize that. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Buddhism. Buddham Saranam Gacchami.
Buddham Saranam Gacchami.
Dhammam Saranam Gacchami.
Dhammam Saranam Gacchami.
Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
Sangham Saranam Gacchami.
Hinduism. Ishavasyam.
Ishavasyam.
Idam sarvam.
Idam sarvam.
Yatkincha.
Yatkincha.
Jagatyam jagat.
Jagatyam jagat.
Tena tektena.
Tena taktena.
Gunjitaha.
Gunjitaha.
Magridaha.
Magridaha.
Kasya svidhanam.
Kasya svidhanam.
Islam. Auzu billahi minash.
Auzu billahi minash
Shaitan.
shaitan
Nirrajim.
nirrajim.
Bismillah.
Bismillah.
Ar-Rahman.
Ar-Rahman.
Ar-Rahim.
Ar-Rahim.
Kul hu Allahu.
Kul huwallahu
Ahad.
ahad.
Allahu samad.
Allahu samad.
Lam yalid.
Lam yalid.
Wa lam yulad.
Wa lam yulad.
Lam yakul lahu.
Lam yakul lahu
Kufuwan ahad.
kufuwan ahad.
Zoroastrian religion or Parsi religion. Mazada.
Mazada.
Atmoy.
Atmoy.
Vaishta.
Vaishta.
Svabhavuscha.
Svabhavuscha.
Sutanacha.
Sutanacha.
Vavaucha.
Vavaucha.
Judaism. Shema Israel.
Shema Israel.
Adonai Elohenu.
Adonai Elohenu.
Adonai Echad.
Adonai Echad.
Christianity. Our Father who art in heaven.
Our Father who art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done in
Thy
earth
will be done
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread.
our daily bread.
And forgive our trespasses.
Forgive our trespasses
As we forgive those
as we forgive those
who trespass against us.
who trespass against us.
Lead us us not into temptation,
and lead us not into temptation,
deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever and ever.
forever and ever.
Sikh religion, एक ओंकार,
एक ओंकार,
सतनाम,
सतनाम,
कर्ता पुरुष,
कर्ता पुरुष,
भव, निर्वैर,
निर्वैर,
अकाल मूरत,
अकाल मूरत,
आजुनि से भंग,
आजुनि से भंग,
गुरु प्रसाद,
गुरु प्रसाद,
जप,
जप,
आदि सच,
आदि सच,
युगादि सच,
युगादि सच,
है भी सच,
है भी सच,
नानक होसी भी सच,
नानक होसी भी सच।
जैन रिलीजन, नमो अरिहंताणम,
नमो अरिहंताणम,
नमो सिद्धाणम,
नमो सिद्धाणम,
नमो आयर्याणम,
नमो आयर्याणम,
नमो वज्रायाणम,
नमो वज्रायाणम,
नमो लोये,
नमो लोये,
सव्वसाहूणम,
सव्वसाहूणम।
सबके लिए खुला है,
सबके लिए खुला है,
मंदिर ये है हमारा,
मंदिर ये है हमारा,
मतभेद को भुलाता,
मतभेद को भुलाता,
मंदिर ये है हमारा,
मंदिर ये है हमारा।
आओ सभी ही पंथी,
आओ सभी ही पंथी,
आओ सभी ही धर्मी,
आओ सभी ही धर्मी,
देशी विदेशियों का,
देशी विदेशियों का,
मस्जिद ये है हमारा,
मस्जिद ये है हमारा।
ओ सबके लिए खुला ही,
सबके लिए खुला है,
मस्जिद ये है हमारा,
मस्जिद ये है हमारा।
मानव का धर्म क्या है,
मानव का धर्म क्या है,
मिलती है राह जिसमें,
मिलती है राह जिसमें,
चाहता भला सभी का,
चाहता भला सभी का,
गिरिजा ये है हमारा,
गिरिजा ये है हमारा।
ओ सबके लिए खुला ही,
सबके लिए खुला है,
गिरिजा ये है हमारा,
गिरिजा ये है हमारा।
संतों की उच्च वाणी,
संतों की उच्च वाणी,
सब जन है बहन भाई,
सब जन है बहन भाई,
सब देवता समाता,
सब देवता समाता,
गुरुद्वार ये हमारा,
गुरुद्वार ये हमारा।
आओ सभी मिलेंगे,
आओ सभी मिलेंगे,
बैठेंगे प्रार्थना में,
बैठेंगे प्रार्थना में,
टुकड़ियां कहे अमर है,
टुकड़ियां कहे अमर है,
मंदिर ये है हमारा,
मंदिर ये है हमारा।
ओ सबके लिए खुला ही,
सबके लिए खुला है,
मंदिर ये है हमारा,
मंदिर ये है हमारा।
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः,
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः,
सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः,
सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः,
सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु,
सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, पश्यन्तु
मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्
मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्
ॐ शान्तिः
ॐ शान्तिः
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 May all be happy.
May all be happy.
May all be healthy.
May all be healthy.
May all live auspicious.
May all be
May
auspicious.
no misery come to anyone.
May no misery come to anyone.
Om peace.
Om peace. Peace. Peace.
So August 6th, Hiroshima Day. On the one hand, today happens to be Hiroshima Day, on which day, when the bombs killed many people, but at the same time, Second War concluded. Very strangely, Great Britain has been spending I don't know how many millions of dollars to celebrate the First World War. What a celebration! When thousands of people were killed and houses destroyed and all that. Anyway, that they are doing. And today, when Swamiji came, we were all discussing peace in the midst of so many wars. When the Second World War ended, the three great leaders at that time, all over the world, the three great people were identified as the world leaders. Winners are the leaders. So together, the United States, the Soviet Union, and Great Britain, these were the three countries which fought Hitler together. And then they won. And all the three representatives met. Roosevelt of the United States, Churchill of Great Britain, and Stalin of the Soviet Union. I was about 10, 12 years. Then the news was very, very sweet. The three leaders, you know what they said? We have killed Hitler. We have defeated Japan. So now the world is on a march towards a world without wars. What a beautiful concept. No wars in the world at all. But then there is a Stockholm Institute of Peace, Stockholm Institute of International Peace. They have recorded more than 300 wars after the Second World War. Not international world war, but then between countries. Even now, we all know wars are going on in different parts of the world, especially in the Middle East and so on and so forth. So, after the declaration of the dream for world, warless world, they constituted the United Nations. 1944, the war ended, and in the same year, October 24, the United Nations came into being. Some 45 nations were members of the United Nations. And we Indians felt proud, but though India was not free at that time, an Indian woman was the first president of the United Nations. Any idea who it was?
Lakshmi Bai Pandit.
An Indian lady.
Lakshmi
Now,
Bai
when you go to the
Pandit.
United Nations in New York, you can see the Indian lady, the first president of the United Nations.
Lakshmi Bai Pandit.
So her name was Vijay Lakshmi Pandit.
Yeah, Vijay.
Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's sister, she was. Anyway, so then after that, those days, some prevailing considerations were, it was said, mere absence of war is no peace, they said. Now, between so many countries, India and Pakistan, no war, but then there's no peace also. Then what is peace? Because they're all interested in peace. So it was considered peace must mean cooperation between countries, working together for human good. Then only we can say there is peace. Mere stoppage of war is not peace. So United Nations created a number of branches. The UNICEF, for instance, for the health of children. World Trade Organization, between nation and nation trade. International Labour Organization, World Health Organization. Many organizations came in. And one institution that came, a branch of the United Nations, was UNESCO, United Nations Education, Social, Cultural Organization, UNESCO. And when UNESCO came into being, very prominent people were made members of that. They sat together and made a constitution, a charter for the UNESCO they made. And this charter has a very interesting sentence. And that sentence, good to remember this, I keep on remembering that. War begins in the minds of men, and hence the defense of peace must be constructed in the minds of men. It starts, the UNESCO Charter starts. War begins in the minds of men. So they say, war doesn't begin in Europe, Hitler's mind. War does not begin in Lanka, Ravana's mind. War does not begin in Kurukshetra, Duryodhana's mind. It's all in the mind. So if you want to have a warless world, then we must have human beings with peaceful minds. And where are those human beings with peaceful minds? Politicians sit to discuss with so much distraught mind themselves. So that is why we sit twice a day. The world needs people with peaceful minds. And where can we get peaceful minds? It cannot be manufactured in a factory. So this is the only way. People have to sit together, sit. Swamiji also sat together. He sits here all alone and still he is happy because he has a peaceful mind. So the world should have more and more people with peaceful minds to create a peaceful world. And for disturbing peace, unfortunately, many times, religion has been responsible. The name of religion they have got, they should also at that point. So, it was a great event on September 11, 1893, when for the first time religions of the world came together. Actually, it was a totally a kind of a celebration of 1883. United States were celebrating the 300th year of Columbus discovering India. That was the occasion. But as a part of Columbus Discover India festival, they had many programs, science exhibition, things like that. And one of the programs was Parliament of World Religions. That was how it came. And then many people thought, well, let people of the world come here and we Americans, we will show them the real way of religion and all the things going on in the minds of the people who organized that. They never thought Vivekananda would come and lead and become the focus in the festival. Anyway, it happened that way. And Swami Vivekananda was nobody. Somebody told him when he was traveling in the south, he was just a kind of wandering monk, he was told. He was moving place to place and lecturing, and people hear him and say, such an intellectual person. So somebody said, you must go to the Parliament of World Religions that is taking place in Chicago. Then he learned about the Parliament of Religions, this is what is happening there, but where is the money? People said, well, we will collect the money. In those days, there were many Rajas. One Raja was in Rajasthan, Alwar. He was so impressed by Swami Vivekananda. He said, oh yes, I will pay part of your travel. And like this, money was collected for him, and he landed. He landed in Vancouver. Then there was a long time for the Parliament of World. It was postponed. So he had problem living here, so expensive, he had no money. And nobody known to him, absolutely not a single person. He was sometimes sleeping in a train station, all kinds of problems he had. Then one day he was so exhausted, he was moving in Chicago, he sat by the roadside, said, no, I won't go anywhere now, let God do whatever he will like. And strangely, he's sitting in a street corner, a lady comes from the home opposite, and she asks him, sir, are you a delegate for the Parliament of World Religions? He says, unknown person. So Swamiji says, yes, people have sent me for that, but then I don't know anybody here. Immediately she says, please come. She helped him have a good bath and good food. And she said, yes, I know somebody in the Parliament of Religions. I will write a note to him. So she writes a note to him. And then in the meanwhile, he comes across a professor, Professor Wright. He talked to Vivekananda for half an hour, 1 hour. After talking to Vivekananda just for half an hour, that professor wrote a note to the chairman of the reception committee of the Parliament of Religion. And in that note, the professor, you know what he wrote? My dear so-and-so, I am sending you a person who is more knowledgeable than all your professor's knowledge put together. What a compliment to him. So with this note he comes. And he got admission to the Parliament of World Religions. People from all parts of the world are there, 6,000 to 7,000 people. Those days there is no loudspeaker. There is no movie cameras like this also. Otherwise somebody would have noted that for us to see. But then, fortunately, the speech has been recorded in print. So there, he sees 7,000 people, no loudspeaker. And people are speaking one after another, all elderly people, 60 years, 70 years, 80 years. And they come with big books. And he goes there, the youngest there, he was 30 years at that time. And he had no reference books, nothing. So he comes there and he keeps on saying, so representatives of each country was to go and speak for just 5 minutes. So Vivekananda says, not now, not now. The chairman says, will you speak? Not now, not now, because he is so hesitating. What shall I tell them? So he was some 115th or so. The Parliament of World Religions began at 10 o'clock, and by 4:30 in the afternoon, Swami Vivekananda made bold, all right, let me also speak. He said, I remember Saraswati and this and my Guru and so on, whatever I speak. Then, at the start of the speech, about 100 people had spoken till then. Everybody had started his or her speech as ladies and gentlemen. So for the first person to address the gathering as sisters and brothers of America. He was just to speak these few words. They all clapped, they stood up, the whole assembly stood up, and then they clapped for 2 full minutes. In fact, out of 5 minutes, 2 minutes were gone clapping. He got only 3 minutes. And there was 3 minutes, he made this point. You are all saying that my religion alone is great. But then, in ancient India, our rishis had made beautiful hymns. And one of those hymns was, Akashat patitam toyam yatha gacchati sagaram sarvadeva namaskara keshavam pradigacchati. It means water collects in the ocean, evaporates, becomes clouds, it falls down as rivers, and they all rivers go to the ocean. Again, the ocean evaporates to make rain. So that is how you may call different rivers by different names. In America, it may be Mississippi somewhere. In Russia, it may be Volga. In India, it may be Ganga. In Africa, it may be Nile. Ultimately, they all go to the same ocean. Similarly, the principle that he had learned from Sri Ramakrishna. Oh, you worship God in any form, ultimately it all goes through same God, the same universal God. So this was so impressive. As I said yesterday, the paper wrote, after listening to this Swami, we felt how foolish, they have used the word foolish, how foolish it is to send preachers to this learned country. So I had the occasion to address the Parliament of Religions 100 years later, 1993 September, in Chicago. And we had all the facilities. There were 18,000 delegates 100 years later. And there are speakers and videos and all that. I'm trying to get a copy of my speech. I don't know where it is and how to get it. No. But then I had all the facility which Swami Vivekananda did not have. I made one point. I said 100 years ago, a young Swami came from India and told you all religions are equal, sarva dharma samabhava. I said in 100 years, India has progressed. We're not staying where it was. We had Mahatma Gandhi, and he continued Swami Vivekananda's work in a way, I said. And he introduced all religions' prayers in his ashram. So I said, 100 years ago, you had greeted the concept of sarva dharma samabhava, all religions are equal. Now I bring you the message of sarva dharma mama bhava. Mama bhava means mine. Then you said all religions are equal. Now I say all religions are mine. If all 7 billion human beings on the earth said all religions are mine, I live in America, I live in Africa somewhere, maybe Australia, maybe Asia, wherever. If all people start saying all the religions are mine, there should be no problem at all in the name of religions of the world. So it was well received. But then, of course, Swami Vivekananda was an epoch-making speech at that time. But now that is what should happen in the world. What we do here, we 50 young people, this should be done. In fact, I had occasion to go to Israel. And Israel, fighting. In fact, I wanted to go to the Palestine side. I'm talking of Arafat's time. I was staying in a Jew home. The Jew cannot take me. So a French girl was there. She took me to the Arab world. Well, that's a big story. But then there, Arabs came, Jews came, Christians came, and I was there. They said, say something. I said, come on, all of us, let us pray through all the religions. It was strange for them. For a Muslim to pray Christian prayer, oh. Otherwise, I said, come on, it's good for you. So, this message has to spread. In fact, after one of the camps, one of the campers invited me, Danewell, a place in the Bay Area, for breakfast. I went to breakfast at that house. They were, before breakfast, the girl said, we have prayers and then we will breakfast. So she had been in the camp, she had taken the whole prayer, and she led the prayer. Buddham Saranam Gacchami, all that. I was very happy. I hope more houses will take this message. More houses to introduce all religions prayer within houses, within other institutions. It will be good for us and good for the world. Well, before breaking, we'll say, please chant. Divya. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya.
Om Asato Ma Satgamaya.
Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya.
Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya.
Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya.
Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
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 Lead us from unreal to the real.
Lead us from unreal to real.
Lead us from darkness to light.
Lead us from darkness to light.
Lead us from death to immortality.
Lead us from death to immortality.
Om peace.
Om peace. Peace. Peace.
Let us leave the heart peaceful.